The vocabulary you use in an interview is slightly different to how you tend to talk in day-to-day life. In an interview, adding in a few power words can give your answers a bit more oomph and help you stand out. However, normally when in a conversation with your friends, you just want to get the point across and don't need to add in any extra fuss by peppering it with any extra adjectives. But in the interview, you're aiming to give the impression that you're capable, competent, and an achiever. Power words are simply adding a bit of colour to your answers. They create an image in the interviewer's mind of you as the right kind of candidate. You don't need to learn a new vocabulary. Just think whether the language of your answers is framing you in the right energetic and enthusiastic light. This is especially true for questions that are centered on your personal experience. There are other factors such as tone and structure of your answers that contribute to the active language, which are important too. But we have a couple of examples where on the surface it could sound like a very capable answer, but they potentially could have more impact added with a few extra words such as power words. So we have a couple of examples of questions that could sound acceptable on the surface, but just could do with some extra power words to make them have a bit more of an impact. So the example of a section of a question is, after giving it some thought, I was able to enact a plan. So this answer can be improved in a couple of different ways. Firstly, after giving it some thought, it just doesn't sound as though your whole attention was being given to it and therefore your whole effort. And the phrase "I was able to" sounds a little bit weak. It doesn't sound powerful enough. There's not enough sort of action associated with it. It sounds as though you had the ability already there and didn't require too much effort on your part to enact it. And it doesn't sound almost that it was even down to you. So you can improve the answer with, after careful consideration of possible options, I made a decision and enacted a plan. So the phrase "I made a decision" sounds a lot more active and it's just got more action associated with it. So the "made" and "decision" accordingly, best judgment, just sounds as though you had more of an impact in that situation. So another example, we'll do two versions of the same answer and we'll compare the terminology used in both. In a virtual work experience, I observed how doctors responded to a patient having a cardiac arrest. From this, I learned how the multidisciplinary nature of healthcare is used in emergency situations, as team members with differing responsibilities had to be aware of their job to contribute to the patient's care. So we can add in some power words and active words. In a virtual work experience, I observed how doctors responded to a patient having a cardiac arrest. From this, I learned the multidisciplinary nature of healthcare is essential in emergency situations, as team members with differing responsibilities had to be aware of their specific job to contribute effectively towards the patient care. So there's an attached document with a few hundred power words links to this video. So in there, you can take a few of those and have a read through them and try to use them in your answers. As a practice exercise, try answering some questions without deliberately trying to insert some of these power words, and then record yourself. Then read through the list, re-answer the questions and deliberately try to insert those power words, and again record yourself and then compare the two answers and see which one you prefer the sound of. And you'll find that the power words are just adding a lot more to your answers and making them sound like they have a lot more action to them.